There we go. Okay, at this time, we'll go on and call the meeting of the Madison County Fiscal Court to order.
That's the last meeting.
Are we on? Yeah, Kenny, I'm sorry.
Master King,
Here.
Master Barner,
Here.
Master Hughes,
Here.
Master Combs,
Here.
Judge Clark.
Here. Y'all had the chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting. If there are no changes or discussion, a motion would be in order to approve those that submitted in your packets.
So moved.
Master King,
Yes.
Master
Yes.
Barner, Master Hughes,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Treasurer's report, we'll have that next, in 2 weeks in Richmond. So we're going into order of business, and it's kind of a short agenda. But first, what we want to do is set the Madison County property tax rates. And as we have done, we've talked about this, and as we've done for the past 6, 7 years, we have continued to leave our rate the same at 8.3. This year, luckily, it came in, the compensating rate came in at 8.3, but sometimes we have to lower it a little bit lower than compensating to keep that 8.3, but it's very important to us as a fiscal court that we understand what people are going through right now. We understand how tough it is for so many people trying to survive right now, and it's just not in anybody's best interest, especially the residents of Madison County, for us to do anything with the tax rate other than keep it the same it's been for the last 7 years. So I'm going to ask the courts, I'm going to vote on this one, and I'd ask a motion to approve the rate of 8.3 for property tax for Madison County. So moved. Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barner.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Okay. Now, next, and as we get into this last couple of years, we really don't vote. We don't have any authority to approve or disapprove of the other taxing districts. So we do, by law, have to put in the minutes of the meeting that we have received them. We have accepted what their boards have passed, and that will go in the minutes, Kenny, like we did last year. And I'm going to briefly go over this. Everything's pretty good. Let me get her stuff. First, the Madison County School Board, I think, took the 4%, and their rate went from 58.3 to 60.1, and also their tangible went up from 58.8 to 60.1. So that was really the only increase in property and tangible tax that we've seen in all our taxing districts. Next is ambulance service is 4.8. They were 4.8 last year. The extension office remained at 1.5. Health department remained at 5 cents, and the library remained at 5.6. And I do want to take just a second to extend our thanks to the library board. They're spending down, they're paying off their buildings. And as you all remember, a couple of years ago, they're tangible, and we don't really know how it got where it was, but it was about 15. And last year they lowered that to 12, and this year they're lowering that to 8.5. So they're in the right direction, getting it down about where their property tax should be, and they've done that the last 2 years, and I can expect maybe a little bit lower next year. So I want to thank the library board for taking that into consideration, and all the taxing districts, except keeping their tax rates the same, except the school. And I'm sure they had a big meeting last night, and there was a lot of discussion, and the board felt like they could justify the raise. Another thing I want to say, especially while we're in Berea, Larry, is the Berea Board of Education, the Berea Independent Board of Education, they lowered theirs from last year it was 91.7, and they have lowered it to 83.7. So
That's pretty big.
That was gonna be in my comments. I want to commend them for doing that.
very significant decrease, and I think they, along with all of us, see the need to help the residents out there, and we want to commend them as a fiscal court on looking at that also. So that really, no major changes except had a little bit with the school board and some decreases with a couple of them. So all in all, everything went real well. And Kenny, if you will get a copy of these and submit those into the minutes, so we'll have them, but there's no vote needed on this. Next is set the date for our Halloween trick or treat.
That doesn't have that listed, but it is the 31st for the cities as well. And the courthouse will be host for the Halloween hoedown.
Okay. Courthouse will be host for Richmond's Halloween hoedown this year. It'll be on the courthouse lawn, and it's huge. They'll have the streets blocked off, and be a ton of children. Everybody's invited to bring their kids down, enjoy that. And as we said, trick or treat will be on the 31st that night, and that will be in both cities and the county. So I don't think we need to vote on that. We just need to set that. Next thing on the agenda is the discussion of condemnation for a section of Crow Valley Hill. Roger, I had to commend Roger, has done a tremendous amount of work on this project. We've been on it, Roger, 4 years now, I guess? 7. Has it been that long? We've got a terrible piece of road that's breaking off, and it's getting more dangerous and more dangerous. We started negotiating. Roger met with the people to try to buy enough land to reroute or raise the road up above what's currently there now. We're going to lose it. I mean, it's just the more blacktop you put on it, the worse it gets. So we talked with this couple, and then the couple went through a divorce, and we waited till that was finalized. And now we've talked to, Roger's talking regularly with the woman that still lives there, and I've tried unsuccessfully to get a hold of the individual, the man, and apparently the property has not been divided and deeded like it should be. So we're in the precarious situation now where we've got to make a move. If we don't, we're going to lose the road, and probably going to have to close it before we can get this done, unless our council, Mark, can expedite the condemnation.
It's not a easy.
I know it
Nor is
isn't.
it a
We have to get
quick process.
Have to get appraisals and then take to a judge, and there are a lot of things to do. But I felt like, and Roger and I talked, that if we're going to do it, we need to go on and do it now. So, we've got a church down there. A lot of people go to. A lot of people use this road, and when it gets too dangerous that we have to close it, it's a very inconvenience for a whole lot of people. So we're going to do everything we can to expedite this. But what I'd like to do is open up the table for any discussion from any of the court members before we make a decision. Roger's very much aware of it. I'm aware of it. Greg's aware of it. Greg's had a lot of people call him about it. But it's one of those situations where something's got to be done, and it's got to be done as soon as possible.
I'd just like to make a comment that there's no other place to put a road. We've got to have this land off of this farm. It's less than an acre that we need. Excuse me. But I don't want to take anybody's property, but we have no choice in this situation unless they want to settle with us somehow. And I think the way the land's tied up, they can't settle with us. But for emergency purposes and just for the general public that's used to driving this road, a lot of cattle trucks bring their cattle out of the farms that road, and it's too dangerous for them right now. The school bus hadn't used it for a number of years now, probably 2 or 3 years. But the blacktop that we're putting down, Greg can witness this too. They can put blacktop down one day and it's sunk the next day. It won't last over a day till it starts cracking and breaking off again. Just more weight and it's going over the hill. But it's time to do something. Like I said, I don't want to close the road, and like the judge said, we may have to close it before we can get the new one fixed.
What's undermining that?
There's probably an underground stream that's softening the ground and just won't let it hold. But
Or it's right on
there
the
was
side
some-
of a hill. Just
There
like
was some
this.
trees that were cut years back that let it start sliding, and it's never got any better.
It's a rough piece of area that would be taken. It won't be no prime land. It's just a bluff there with trees and rocks in it. So, there's no other alternative other than going through there. So
And the good thing about it is, we received state funding to do this, and we still have that money in reserve with the Department of Transportation, so it's not gonna cost us anything. We have the money to fix it. Well, we got 80% of the money to fix it.
Well, I don't have any problem with it. I mean, it's your own district. You all know more about it than I do, but I would like to go down and look at it before.
I'd be glad to go in and show it.
Sounds like we're gonna have plenty of time for it tomorrow.
Yep.
But how do you all feel, Billy Ray? How do you feel about it?
I don't have any problem with it.
Could, in order to get things started, Larry, would you be okay if we can even do a contingent upon you looking at it?
Yeah, no
Is
problem.
go on and vote to start the condemnation process and get with Mara?
Judge, you'll need to put it in the form of a resolution, because I think that's one of the precursors to actually bringing the suit or doing any other preliminary work at all.
Okay. Can we go on and do that, Mark, without having the resolution drawn up?
Well, I think that what you're gonna be doing is approving a resolution today to begin the condemnation process, so I think this is what it is.
Okay. So if there's no further discussion, a motion be in order to approve the resolution that gives us the authority to go on and get condemnation started on Crow Valley Hill.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Thank you all. We never like to do that, but sometimes it's a necessity for the goodwill of everybody involved. I don't have any judge's report today. Everything seems to be going real well. Weather's good weather, the rain's quit, and people are getting out and still mowing grass. So I will open it up. Do we have any department heads here today that have anything to report to the court? If not, magistrates, Greg, you got any?
Everything's going pretty good.
Roger?
Any comments, Judge?
Bill Ray?
No comments.
Larry?
I was asking Billy Ray, Judge, what, 2 weeks ago, we talked about that Diamond Brook. Have we done anything on that?
Diamond Brook, yes, I'm talking to Frank right now.
Okay. I had some people ask me, and I told them, I said, well, they come up with a discussion.
Leroy and I have both been out there a couple of times, and we're talking with Frank, and I think it's gonna work out good. We don't wanna do it all, but he's agreed to go on and do what's needed on the first phase. So it'll be taken care of this year.
Yes, some of those people told me they've been there 12 years.
The road's still in good shape.
Yeah.
It's just he has 2 phases behind the first phase. You know, and you hate to give up that part of the bond and let him go on and put the cap on. And then the next 10 or 15 years, you build 40 or 50 homes on the second phases, and then all of a sudden, the road's torn up and we don't have a bond to hold. But we felt this long that we're probably, and he's agreed to do it, we'll go on and let him put the 1-inch cap on the first phase.
Now, that's something I think we really need to really look at hard when we get a bond, to make sure that we got enough to take care of it. Because a few times we've come real close, may have lost once or twice, I don't know. That's something I think we really need to look at.
Everything just keeps going up.
I know, I understand that, and I want to thank the city of Berea for letting us be here, even though we still got room for other people to come. But, and I want to compliment the school board of Berea for lowering that tax rate. That's really good, and you see all the improvements they're doing down there, putting the new roofs and stuff on. So they evidently studied that hard, and I commend them for that. Other than that, I'm just glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Do we have any comments from the audience? If not, the next court date will be September the 24th, 9:30 in Richmond. And with that, the motion be in order to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in
Yes.
favor?
Yes.
Yes.